Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Vandeham Sri Guru.
Hare Krishna. Just increase the volume a little bit from the back side. Hare Krishna. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Braj Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braj Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braj Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braj Janaranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram. Jai Nitai Gauranga, Jaya Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Jaya Nitai Gauranga. Jai Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita Yatharup, chapter 7, entitled as Knowledge of the Absolute, and text number 14. Devi Esha Gunmayi Mama Maya Durattaya Mameva Ye Prabhadyante Maya Metam Darantite. Devi Esha Gunmayi Mama Maya Durattaya Mameva Ye Prabhadyante Maya Metam Darantite. Devi Esha Gunmayi Mama Maya Durattaya Mameva Ye Prabhadyante Maya Metam Darantite. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Translation. The divine energy of mind, consisting of the three modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome, but those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. Please repeat the translation after me. The divine energy of mind, consisting of the three modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome, but those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. So we are reading from the 7th chapter, and this verse, text number 14, one of the very, very important verse, which teaches us the art how to cross over the clutches of Maya. Many times we keep hearing when we talk about Bhagavad Gita or any other scriptures, we talk about the Maya or illusory energy. So Krishna in this verse is talking, so you see the 4 lines. In the first 2 lines, Krishna is talking about the power of Maya, how powerful this Maya is. And the second 2 lines, second part of the verse, 2 lines, Krishna explains that there is something beyond the power of Maya, which is the power of Krishna. So Krishna is teaching us that how one can easily cross over the influence or the clutches of Maya, the illusory energy. And Prabhupada has given a long purport, so many points, wonderful points. So I'll try to cover those points through our discussion. So I'll not be reading the purport, but I'll cover the points here. So Prabhupada starts the purport by saying that the Supreme Lord Krishna, He has the innumerable energies. So Krishna's energies are innumerable. It is also mentioned in the scriptures, Parasya Saktir Bibideva Shuruyate. So Krishna has multifarious energy, many, many energies. And all these energies of Krishna, they are all divine, Devi. So in this verse also, see here Krishna says, Devi Esha Gunmayi, Mama Maya Durataya. So Maya is also one of the energy of Krishna. And this energy, the Maya, the illusory energy, is also described as Devi, Shakti, divine energy. We'll understand that, why it is called divine. Okay, so in the 7th chapter, Krishna previously explained about 2 different kinds of energies, inferior energy and superior energy. In text number 4 and 5, you can go back and read that. So Krishna says, Bhumi Rapo Analo Vayu Kham Mano Buddhi Revacha Ahankarityam Me Binna Prakriti Rashtada. So it talks about the 8 different elements. They are considered as the inferior energy. And then Krishna says the superior energy is Jiva Bhuta Mahabaho. All the living entities, they are considered as the superior energy. So the living entity is also considered as the divine energy or the superior energy. But when this living entity comes in contact with the material nature, which is considerably or comparatively the inferior energy, and the superior energy gets covered by the inferior energy. Now one should ask the question, if living entity, all of us, if we are Krishna's superior energy, then how we can be covered by Krishna's inferior energy, which is the Maya, the illusory energy. So we'll understand that. So Prabhupada explains that since we are covered by this illusory energy, so our superior power is covered. So just prior to this verse, in text 13, Krishna explains, Tribhir Gunmayer Bhaver Ebi Sarvam Idam Jagat Mohitam Nabijanati Mamebhya Paramabhyam. So Krishna explains that everyone in this material world, they are covered by the 3 modes of material nature. So many of you might be quite familiar with these 3 modes we keep talking. So he says, Mohitam na abhijanati. Because all of us, we are covered by these 3 modes. Satagun, Rajagun and Tamagun. So then, Mohitam na abhijanati. We become bewildered. We get deluded and we cannot understand Krishna. So these three modes are actually covering us to understand Krishna. These three modes are like that. If we say the example, it's a person who is ignorant or influenced by the mode of ignorance. So the person who is ignorant is driving. So he's ignorant, he doesn't know what is red light, what is green light. So he'll cross the red light and that will create a trouble for him. So the cause of trouble for him is his ignorance. Because of ignorance, he is into problem. Now another person who is in the mode of passion. So person who is in the passion, Rajogun, he knows the laws. He knows what is red light, what is green light. He understands that I should not cross the red light. But because he is so much influenced by the Rajogun, he says, I don't care. Because he is driven by this desire to enjoy. That is the passion does. I have the desires, by any means I should fulfill those desires. I don't care about the laws. So the person who is in the mode of passion, he understands the laws, but still he don't follow the laws. So he is in trouble. Mode of passion. And the person who is in mode of goodness, Satogun, he understands the laws, he follows the laws. He understands this is red light, I should stop, green light, I should drive. But still, the Shastra explains that the person who is covered by any of those modes cannot understand Krishna. So we understood ignorance is bad, passion is bad, but what is wrong with the goodness? So the problem with the goodness is the person who understands the laws, who follows the laws, he keeps driving, but the problem is he doesn't know where to drive. There's no direction. So all these modes keep us always in illusion that we don't understand the purpose of this human form of life, which is to go and surrender to Krishna. So that has been explained in the 7.13, Tribhir Gunmayar Bhaver. All the living entities, they are covered by these three modes of material nature. And in this verse, what we are discussing today, 7.14, Krishna goes further, next level, and he explains these three modes actually, they are not independent. They are not acting independently. They are actually Devi Esha Gunamayi Mama Maya Durattaya. So Krishna actually explains that all these three modes are working under my control, under my illusory energy, which is Mama Maya. Krishna is saying this Maya is my energy, my Shakti. And all the three modes actually working under the Maya Shakti. And Maya is controlled by Krishna. Maya is not acting independently. So we should understand Maya is powerful, but it is not powerful beyond Krishna's power. It is Krishna's Shakti. And also it is said here, Devi Esha Gunamayi. This is Krishna's Devi Shakti, divine energy. Now question should be raised here. Maya generally we see as a, like Maya always has the negative connotation. Right? Maya is not something that we want to get into Maya. We all want to be away from Maya. Maya is the illusory energy. Nobody wants to be in illusion. So then if Maya is a bad thing, then why it is addressed as divine energy? Question should be raised. Why it is divine? Maya is the one which causes the people to do all kinds of bad things. Maya is the one which makes people to do all the demonic things. Under the influence of Maya, people work lustily, they become greedy, they become angry. Right? And that Maya is addressed here as Devi Shakti. What is the understanding? So there's multiple understanding. Prabhupada mentioned in the purport also, I'll read that also, but just give some examples to understand that why Maya is addressed as the divine energy. So first of all, we should understand that it is not the Maya which doesn't make people do bad things. We think, oh, because of Maya is doing the bad thing. That is not the right understanding. Maya is just a facilitator. Why we do the bad things? Because we desire to do the bad things. So in the 5th chapter, you read the section 5.13, 14, 15. This 2-3 verses where 3 doers have been explained. Last time also I mentioned that. So the Jiva desires and the Lord, Supreme Lord Krishna, who sanctioned those desires, but the material nature, Prakriti, which facilitates to fulfill those desires. So looks like Maya is making the people to do the bad things, but it is not Maya which is making us to do bad things. It is we or free will or desire to do what we want to do, and Maya will facilitate. So that is why Maya is not bad actually. It seems like Maya is bad guy, but it's not bad. It is Krishna's energy. But Krishna respects Jiva's free will. So Jiva wants to do the things in a certain way, desires in certain way. So Krishna, employ the Maya to facilitate, to fulfill the desires of the Jiva. It's like, see, people blame the Maya. It is just like blaming a teacher who conducts the exam. And when he conducts the exam, so in the exam paper, the questions are like multiple choice. So in this multiple choice, there might be one option should be the right option and other might be the wrong option. Now the student who goes and click on the wrong option and he fails and he blames the teacher. Why did you give me the wrong option? Because of you only I failed. But is it the right thing to blame the teacher? We cannot blame the teacher, because teacher actually provide the education also. He guides you, he educates you to make the right choice, right? But if you are not attentive during the class, during the sessions, if you don't study well, if you don't understand the subject better, nicely, then you'll end up making the wrong choice or click onto the wrong option and you fails. But you cannot blame the teacher. Similarly, it is Maya's job. Maya is employed by the Supreme Lord Krishna to make sure, because the purpose of conducting the exam is not to fail you, but to make sure that you are qualified enough to promote to the next level. So you have to prove yourself. So that is the job of the Maya. Maya keep testing all of us. It is deployed by Krishna that we are qualified enough to promote to the next level and gradually go to the spiritual world. So that is Maya's job, but we cannot blame the Maya. So the student who does not study well, then he will end up making the wrong choice. Similarly, the living entities who does not read the scriptures, don't take the shelter of Guru, Sadhu and Shastra, doesn't have the guidance from the bona fide spiritual master, from the devotees, from the scriptures, then what happens? They'll make the wrong choices and they'll be defeated by Maya. So in that sense, you see, the Maya is not a bad person. So the purpose of exam is to create a positive impact in your career in the future. Similarly, the purpose of Maya is to make you a better person. Right? If you click on the wrong choice, then that question will pop up again. But once you click on the right choice, that question will go off. And then another question will come, and then you click on the right, and then it will go off. And finally, all the questions will be over. You will be passed. If you keep clicking on the wrong options, then we keep failing again and again. So the Maya is like a teacher who is testing us. So the intention of Maya is to promote us. Right? So Prabhupada writes here. So we are talking about why this Maya is addressed as Devi Shakti, the divine energy. Prabhupada writes here in the purport. Inferior material nature is defined herein as divine nature due to its divine connection and movement by the divine will. So here is the answer. Why the Maya Shakti is addressed as the Devi Shakti? Because of Maya's connection with Krishna. So divine connection with Krishna makes the Maya also the divine. Being conducted by divine will, material nature, although inferior, acts so wonderfully in the construction and destructions of the cosmic manifestation. So though Maya is the inferior energy, but it is in connection with the Supreme Lord who is all divine, Krishna. So the Maya is also addressed as divine. So that is the first point here. First describer of Maya. Devi Esha Gunamayi. Mama Maya Duratya. There are two describers are mentioned here. This verse. So this Maya, Mama Maya, it is Devi, it is divine. And another thing Krishna talks about, it is Duratya. Duratya means it is very difficult to overcome. We'll talk about that also. But before that, Krishna says, Devi Esha Gunamayi. This Guna. So Prabhupada explains in the purport, says another meaning of Guna is rope. So these three gunas, three modes we are talking about. Actually, Prabhupada writes, guna means, another meaning of guna is rope. Like the person who is bound by the ropes, it's very difficult for the person who is bound by the ropes to get free. Right? So Prabhupada explains, it is to be understood that the conditioned soul is tightly tied by the ropes of illusion. A man bound by the hands and feet cannot free himself. He must be held by a person who is unbound. So we are all bound here in this material world by these three modes, by this rope of illusion. And no matter how much endeavor you put to release yourself, you cannot. So the person who is bound tightly, hands and legs are bound, then that person can be only released by another person who is already free. So Prabhupada says here, therefore only Lord Krishna or his bona fide representative, the spiritual master, can release the conditioned soul. So we think, oh, I can come out from this illusion, from this Maya by my own endeavor. Not possible, because we are bound. So we need the external help of Krishna or his bona fide representative, the spiritual master. So that is the understanding of Gunamayi. So Devi Aisha Gunamayi, we discussed about the Devi, why it is divine. We discussed about the Guna, what is the meaning of this Guna. Guna means rope. And now let us talk about the third word, which is Durattaya. Krishna explains this Maya is Durattaya. Durattaya means it is very difficult to overcome. Let us understand this. Now question is, how the living entity, all of us, we are all superior energy of Krishna. Krishna already explained in the 7.5. Then how the superior energy were influenced by the Maya, which is inferior energy. Okay. So we can understand this from this example of, see, Maya is inferior, we are superior, but still we are controlled. How we are controlled? This example will help us to understand this. Sometimes the parent, they want to discipline the child, but because they love the child and sometimes they're very loving, very nice, very caring, very gentle, so the child also won't listen to the parents. So what they will do is they will appoint one teacher, and this teacher is very strict, right? So the child won't listen the father, who might be a very rich father, he might be the king also. Child won't listen, but a simple ordinary teacher which is appointed by the father, then child has to listen. The teacher can control the child. How he can control? He is not powerful, because the child is the son of a powerful king. Teacher is an ordinary, some job person, very insignificant, some ordinary person, but still he can control the child because this teacher is empowered by the father. So similarly, we all living entities, we are superior energy as being the part and parcel of Krishna, the son of Krishna, and Krishna is all powerful. Then how somebody like some silly guy, Maya Devi, can control us? Maya can control because Maya is deployed by Krishna to control us. So the question can be answered here, that how Maya, which is inferior energy, can control the superior energy, which is living entity. It is possible because the Maya is employed by Krishna, empowered by Krishna. That is the job of the Maya, right? So that's the understanding here. And why it is Durattaya, why it is difficult to overcome. So one time somebody asked Srila Prabhupada that if our purpose is to serve Krishna, then why is Maya so strong? We all want to serve Krishna, we understand, but why Maya is so strong? And Prabhupada gave immediately, the reply was, Prabhupada says, because your purpose is not strong. We think we want to serve Krishna, but you are not strong in your purpose, right? It's like the example of a student who has exam tomorrow. He's very sincerely trying to study and prepare for the exam, and some friends comes and they propose him to go for a movie. Now, if this student is not very strong in his purpose to prepare well and to pass the exam and score good marks, then he might get very easily carried away. He might get influenced by that proposal. Oh, yeah, it's a very fascinating idea, let us go for a movie. And then he'll fail. But a student who is very strong in his purpose about his exam, very serious about exam, then though such proposals will be made to that student, he'll not be carried away by such proposals. Similarly, the Maya keep offering us the various proposals. Money, power, position, sense enjoyment, sense gratification, so many things, right? A student who is very sincere, who understand that I had to pass this exam. This human form of life is meant to cross over this material science. I do prepare well. I don't have much time for all this sense gratification and all these worldly things. If somebody is very strong, then Maya keeps throwing a lot of options, but you don't get distracted by all those temptations. But someone who is not strong in the purpose, and he says, we have enough time. What is hurry? Like people in general, they say, oh, what is the need of chanting this Hare Krishna mantra, reading Bhagavad Gita in the young age? Now you enjoy. Later, when you are retired after 60 years, you have nothing to do. That time you chant, you read Bhagavad Gita. It means they are not serious in their purpose. They are not understood the purpose. So they get easily carried away by the Maya. So why Maya is Duratya, as Prabhupada explains here, says because you are not strong in your purpose. So we had to become strong in purpose. And how do we become the strong in our purpose? When we associate with the right people, those who understand the purpose of life. That is Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. The bona fide teacher. He understands and he will guide us, he will educate us what is the actual purpose of life. And when we listen, we take the shelter, we listen from them, from the devotee association, then gradually we start valuing this human form of life and what is the actual purpose of this human form of life. Then you'll not be distracted by all those temptation which is offered by the Maya. Otherwise it remains very difficult to overcome Maya, and that is what Krishna is saying here. Devesha Gunmai Mama Maya Durattaya. Very difficult to overcome Maya. So Prabhupada writes here in the purport, consequently, his release from the clutches of material nature is very difficult. Even though that material nature is an inferior energy, because material nature is ultimately conducted by the Supreme Will, which the living entity cannot overcome. So it remains very difficult to overcome. So also another thing we should understand why Maya is difficult to overcome is if you try to overcome by your own endeavor. It is just like a thief who try to arm twist the policeman. He says, I can get release by fighting with the policeman. Let me just get into wrestling with the policeman and I'll just get away from this policeman. This is not the way that one can be free from the police. If you try to get arm twist into the policeman, then the bigger force will come. They'll capture him. And somehow he managed to fight with the bigger force also. Then army will come. Right? So this Krishna's energy, Mama Maya Durattaya, it's a very, very powerful energy. It's not easy to fight or to overcome by your own endeavor. That is why Krishna is saying that there is a solution to this. How you can. That will come to later. So by your own endeavor, we try to make the solution of the problems not possible. And that is the disease of this, modern civilization. They think that we are smart, we know everything, we can figure out our solutions of the problems in the world. But the Bhagavatam explains in this material world, the solution of the problem itself is another bigger problem. Right? Like when it is too hot, we invented the air condition. Now AC is there. So it can cool the room inside. But because of all too much of uses of all this AC and so many other kind of devices, now there is a problem of global warming. So we thought we made the solution. It looks like we made the solution. But the solution is creating a bigger problem now that we have to deal. Right? That is how it is. Yesterday also I was giving this example of when there was this disease, the plague was there. So the people were figuring out, because first time ever in the history of humanity it happened, plague. And people had no clue that what is the cause of this plague. So when they were researching, they figured out the cause of this plague is cats. Cat. So they thought because of the cat, the plague has emerged. So the solution is we should kill all the cats. So there was a resolution passed. They said all the cats wherever you see, kill them. So immediately they killed all the cats in the city. And then soon they realized the cause of the plague is not cat, it was rats. Because they were still into the, further figuring out and exploring. And they realized it is not cat, it is rat. Now how to kill the rats? Because by nature's arrangement, cats can eat the rat and kill them and eat. But they already killed all the rats. So actually, why plague was, it spreaded too much, there was a problem, but that problem was excavated because of human intervention. We thought that we'll figure out the solution, but that solution actually created the bigger problem. There's something called the famous this cobra effect. I don't know how many of you are familiar with this. So long back there was a problem that there's some cobra. It was in Delhi. Delhi was not still a big city in those days. So there's a lot of the snakes were coming there. So they're figuring out that how to deal with all the snakes. So then government they passed the resolution that anyone who will catch a cobra and bring to us will pay 5 rupees. So that was the because how much government can do. So they say public can do this. So we had to give them some reward. You see a cobra, catch, kill, bring that, we'll pay you the 5 rupees. So it was a very fascinating proposal. Those days 5 rupees is big money. Right? So some of the people, that is how the human mind works. So some of the people, some villagers, they thought it's such a fascinating idea. If we get one cobra, we find one cobra, we'll hand over to the government, they'll pay us the 5 rupees. So let us, they started breeding the cobras in their farms. This in the due course will have many more cobras and we'll go and we'll get the more monies. So suddenly, despite all these proposals, a lot of cobras are coming. Government realized in few months that the number of cobras not reducing, it is actually increasing. And then they set a team and then they figured out that some people in their farms, they're actually breeding the cobras. So immediately government, withdraw that proposal. That will not be anymore will not be paying the money. So all these farmers were furious. He said, what is this nonsense? First they said that they'll pay and now they're saying will not pay. So they released all the cobras in the city. So what seems like a solution to get relief from all these cobras, it resulted in getting more cobras. So this is what happens when these humans, when they don't follow, they don't accept the authority of the Supreme Lord and they think themselves are smart, super smart, and they come up with their own solution. The solution itself result in a bigger problem. So that is why Krishna is saying, Mama Maya Duratya, it is very difficult. If you try to overcome this Maya by your own endeavor, not possible. So the solution is, in the next line Krishna explains, Mam eva ye prapadyante mayam etam taranti de. One can easily cross over taranti. You can easily cross over the Maya. How? Mam eva ye prapadyante. Prapadyante means you surrender. Surrender to me, and by surrendering to Krishna, you can easily cross over the Maya. Because Krishna is the master of Maya. So this story, one person who goes to meet a friend. Now this friend was having a big dog, a very furious German Shepherd. So he enters there and this dog was trained as soon as any stranger come. You were trained to chase him, to charge him and bite him. So this person didn't know and he enters the house and this dog saw the stranger and then he started almost charging. He started groaning on him and then started about to pounce on him. Now this person was furious. What to do now? It's such a big dog, very powerful. He realized that I cannot fight with this dog. I cannot run away also. He'll catch me soon. So what to do? Started shivering in his boots. And then suddenly he realized as soon as this dog started charging, almost about to pounce on him, he shouted loudly, his friend, who's the owner of the dog, said, hey my dear friend, please come and save me, help me. And this the owner of the dog, he comes and he immediately comes and he says, "Hey Tommy, please cool down," or whatever, Tommy or something. So please cool down. And as soon as the owner of the dog says that, the dog was cooled down. He's set. So this is what exactly this Maya is, Krishna's dog. So you cannot fight with the Maya because it's very powerful. Mam Maya Durattaya. So instead of trying to fight against Maya, we should learn how to loudly shout Krishna, because Krishna is the master of Maya. So when you say, "Krishna, please help me," when Maya is chasing you, Maya is about to pounce on you, charging on you, you start running. Maya is running behind you, you start running behind Krishna and catch Krishna. Shout Krishna's name. So that is what Krishna exactly saying here. Mam eva ye prapadyante. One who surrenders to me, then Maya medam tarandide. He can very easily cross over the Maya. So this is the way. So you cannot fight with the Maya, you cannot fight against the Maya, because it is the divine energy of the Lord. Devi Esha Gunmai Mama Maya Duratya. It's very, very powerful, very difficult to overcome. But when we surrender to Krishna, then we can easily cross over. So Prabhupada writes here, Krishna, being the Lord of illusory energy, can order this insurmountable energy to release the conditioned soul. Krishna can order. Why Krishna will order? That is the question now. So Prabhupada writes here, he orders this release out of his causeless mercy on the surrendered soul and out of his parental affection for the living entity who is originally a beloved son of the Lord. So Lord loves us more than anyone, and just to protect us, to express his love towards all of us, Krishna can easily order the Maya to release this conditioned soul. But then you should turn towards Krishna first, because we are turning away from Krishna. That is why we are under the clutches of Maya. Right. So there is a verse in the Chaitanya Charitamrita which explains that the Jiva Bhoga Vancha Kare Maya Jhapati Adhare. Like that there is a verse. Says as soon as the living entity, we all of us, we start to desire to enjoy independent from Krishna, that is when we comes under the grip of Maya. But as soon as you choose Krishna, to enjoy with Krishna, not independent from Krishna, then Krishna will order Maya to release you. Mameva prapadyante mayam edam tarantide. So here Prabhupada writes in the purport that Mam eva. It's a very, very important verse. Very significant word here, that Mam eva. Mam eva means unto Krishna. Krishna is saying, surrender to me, not to anybody else. So we are all surrendering to so many things, so many people in this world. Right? Husband is surrendering to the wife. Wife is surrendering to the kids. Kids are not surrendering to anyone. But in the due course, they also had to surrender to some boss or teacher in the school. So we had to surrender, but Krishna is saying, Mam eva prapadyante. Surrender to Krishna, not to anybody else, including Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva. They are very, very powerful personalities. But actually Prabhupada explains, even Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva are also under the clutches of Maya. They are also not free from Maya. We have the examples in the Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto, and this pastime of Brahma Bimohan Leela, that how Brahmaji, who is the original creator, very powerful, very intelligent, he got bewildered. He got influenced by Krishna's Maya Shakti, Brahma Bimohan Leela. So even the Brahmaji is also not free from the Maya, Krishna's Maya. So if you surrender to Brahmaji, then you don't get much help. Even Lord Shiva also got bewildered. There is a pastime of this Mohini avatar. So when Krishna appeared in the form of the Mohini Roop, that Lord Shiva also got fascinated and bewildered by that particular form of Lord. So Prabhupada explains, even Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, they are also not free from the Maya. So if you go and surrender to them, you cannot get free from the clutches of Maya. That is why Krishna is very specifically mentioning this word, Mam eva ye prapadyante. Mam means unto me. So in fact, in one place, Prabhupada quotes here that Lord Shiva says, Lord Shiva is saying, Mukti pradata sarvesham Vishnur eva na samshaya. So he says, there is no doubt that Vishnu or Lord Krishna is the deliverer of liberation for everyone. Mukti Data Prasheda. So who can give the liberation? Who can give the mukti? Only Krishna can give the mukti. Even Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, they also can't give you the mukti. So that is why Krishna is saying, surrender unto me. Now, lastly, we'll talk about this surrender we are talking. And many times we keep hearing, what is this surrender? All the time. Surrender means raise your hand. Sometimes people say surrender. Surrender sometimes, in the outside world, those who don't read Bhagavad Gita, surrender has some kind of a negative connotation. Like, hands up and you surrender kind of a thing. But the surrender it's a voluntary surrender. Not somebody is pointing the gun on your head and say surrender to me and you surrender. Not that kind of a surrender. It's a loving surrender. Okay. So this surrender means basically, so it has been explained in the Shastras, there are 6 principles of surrender. So we'll not talk all the 6, but I'll talk about 2. So it is explained here, Anukulasya Sankalpa, Pratikulasya Varjanam, Rakshishyati iti Vishwaso, Gopatritve Varnam Dada. And then it says, Atmanikshepa Karpanya Shadvida Sharanagati. So what is the 6th principle of surrender is, number 1, Anukulasya Sankalpa. Very, very important. Please pay attention. What is this Anukulasya Sankalpa? Something which is favorable to bring you closer to Krishna, do that. And which is unfavorable or something which takes you away from Krishna, reject that. Anukulasya Sankalpa means accept which is favorable, and Pratikulasya Varjanam. Varjanam means reject which is unfavorable. So we had to make the right choices in our life. Constantly we keep making the choices. Right? Somebody has to buy the house, say for example. Simple example. You can buy the house which is like, say, 1 hour away from here. Invariably what happens, you're coming to temple, attending the sessions and the program in the temple, significantly it will be reduced. Because you will be lazy, sometimes you will be genuinely occupied with so many things. So you make the right choice. Find some place which is close to the temple, which is favorable. Sign up for some programs in the temple, register your child for some Sunday school, which will push you to come to the temple. It becomes favorable for you to get connect to Krishna. So like that, there's small things, small choices, which is favorable for you. So Anukulasya Sankalpa and Pratikulasya Varjanam. Anything which is not favorable, which takes you away from Krishna or which makes you forgetful of Krishna, reject all of those things. So all these worldly things, worldly enjoyment, watching TV, all kinds of entertainment, you don't have the time for Krishna. You'll ask, okay, chant Hare Krishna mantra, Proji, I have to watch this movie, I have to watch that serial, some series is also released now. After that, if I had the time, then I'll chant. It's not favorable. Reject all of those things. So this is the meaning of surrenderance. So surrender, the basic principle of surrender is here. Right? It is that harmonizing our will with the will of Krishna. That is surrender. Now surrender can be done in multiple ways, in so many ways. For different people in different circumstances, the definition of surrender is different. We see the example in the Mahabharata of Draupadi. So Draupadi also surrendered to Krishna. How she surrendered? She raised the hand because she was in a helpless situation. She tried her best when she was stripped naked in the assembly. She tried to hold the sari and she go and pleaded to the different people there. So she did not receive any help. And then finally she realized that nobody will help and my strength is also not enough to help myself. In that helpless situation, she surrendered to Krishna by raising the hand. So raising the hand means, okay, I'll not do anything. Krishna, I'm surrendered to you. You take care of me. That is one kind of surrender. But now we see in case of Arjuna, Arjuna did not raise the hand. But he lifted in the hand the bow and arrow. And very intelligently, very smartly, very carefully, he's shooting the arrows. Right? He is also surrendered to Krishna. Because why he is shooting the arrows? He did not want originally to shoot the arrows. That was his will. That I don't want to kill the people. But then Krishna says that you have to kill all those people. And then towards the end of Bhagavad Gita, after all the discussion happens, and finally Krishna wanted to check what is Arjuna's decision finally after hearing the whole Bhagavad Gita. And he says, he did not say that I'll fight or I'll not fight. He says, Karishye vachanam tava. I'll do what you say. I'll follow your will. That is surrender. To harmonize our will with the will of Krishna. So if it contradicts, then let go your will and let Krishna's will be executed. So that is surrender. So Arjuna's surrender is shooting the arrows. Draupadi's surrender is raising the hands. So sometimes we might get confused. What is exactly surrender? We should also surrender like Draupadi, don't do anything, or shall we surrender like Arjuna? So we should understand the underlying principle, which is harmonizing our will with Krishna's will. That is surrender. And for that, the 6 principles has been explained. Anukulasya sankalpa, pratikulasya varjanam, rakshishyati iti vishwaso. You should have the firm conviction, firm faith that Krishna will protect me in all situations. Rakshishyati iti vishwaso. You should have that vishwas, that faith, that strong conviction that Krishna will protect me. I might be going through various challenging situations, but Krishna is always in control. Krishna is my well-wisher. Krishna is my kind father, supreme father, and he'll give me the protection. That faith should be there. So what happens generally? We have the faith when everything is going well. Say, oh, by Krishna's grace, everything is great in life. And as soon as some problem comes in life, then we start blaming Krishna himself. Say, what is this? What is the point of me being a devotee? I've been coming to your temple. I've been chanting this Hare Krishna mantra. I've been doing this service to you. And why you put me in this difficult situation? You start asking the questions, blaming the Lord himself. Then you don't have that vishwas. Rakshishyati iti vishwaso. And then Goptratve varnam dada. That Krishna is my maintainer. He will maintain me in all situations. And then Atmanikshepa and Karpanya. Be humble and always surrender to Krishna. Depend on Krishna. So these are all 6 principles of surrender, which is outlined by the Acharyas. And that is what Krishna is asking. If you want to cross over this illusory energy, Maya, which is my divine energy, very powerful, and Durattaya, very difficult to overcome, you cannot head on and fight with the Maya. Better you surrender. Mameva ye prapadyante. Surrender unto me and Mayam edam tarantide. Then you can easily cross over this illusory energy. So that is this verse. I'll stop here. Let me see if anybody has any quick question or any comment. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you go ahead with your question. Yeah, so the same example, when the student goes to the exam, there's a right option and wrong option. If you study well, then you understand which is the wrong option, which is the wrong choice, and which is the right choice. So the solution is study well, get educated well. So we had to read the scriptures, be in the devotee association, understand, ask question, get trained spiritually. And spiritually training means one thing is asking, reading, and all of that. Another thing is practicing, which makes you strong inside. Externally, intellectually, you can become smart. You know all the verses and all of that. But you have to practice also. That conviction, that faith, that realization has to come. That comes only by practice. So when we constantly keep practicing, then you shoot the right arrow. Right? It's like somebody asked the question, when I am in a battlefield, how should I shoot the arrow in a right way? So there's no shortcut to it. You have to keep practicing. When you are not in the battlefield, still you keep practicing, keep shooting the arrows. Get trained, become pakka. So that is the solution. So when we keep practicing, keep reading the scriptures, chant Hare Krishna mantra, be in the devotee association, come to the temple, take association, do some service, it trains us spiritually. And when you'll be put into the situation, you'll be able to make the right choice. So that is the way to make the right choice. And there's a lot of examples will be given in the scriptures. See, there's no situation that we can be put in which is not mentioned in the scriptures. All the situations, all the challenging situations that we go through in our life, it has somebody already gone through in their life in the past, and that has been recorded in the scriptures. So you go and read. So sometimes people ask the question, we did a session also, why bad thing happens to good people, right? But the Bhagavatam doesn't focus on explaining why bad thing happens to good people, but Bhagavatam explains what the good people do when bad thing happens to them. That is more important. Simply understanding why bad thing happens to good people, you understand and you don't know what to do. So better you understand when the bad thing happens to good people, how the good people respond to those bad situations or bad things. That the Bhagavatam talks about, it trains us. Then all kinds of bad situations, all kinds of challenging situations in the past people have gone through, how they responded to those situations, what kind of choices they made in their life when they were put into those situations. So that training happens. It's a Nityam Bhagavata Sevya. That is why Bhagavatam explains. It's not 1 day, 2 day, come to one class and learn the art. It won't work like that. Bhagavatam clearly says that Nityam Bhagavata Sevya. Every day you have to read, you have to practice, you have to chant, and that is how you get trained, and then you will be able to make the right choice. Practice the chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Basic. There's so many other things also can be done, but basically you have to chant every day Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And our spiritual teachers, the spiritual scientists like Srila Prabhupada, they have recommended chanting 16 rounds every day of Mahamantra. So out of 16, one round will be chanting now for those who are coming first time. So anybody is coming first time, please raise your hand. We have this special gift for you. Okay, somebody is there the first time. So please collect your gift from that counter there. The Mataji is there, she will help you. So we welcome the new visitors by giving a very invaluable gift. So please don't miss to collect your gift before you leave. Okay. So now we are coming to the part which we have been talking, that we have to practice. So what we have to practice is simple practice, yet very profound, which is recommended in this modern age, a chanting of the holy name of the Lord, which is very easy. Even a small child can also practice, which is chanting of this mantra called the Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So we'll be chanting now one round of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. It's very easy, those who are new. So you are given the mala. So on every bead, you have to chant the full mantra and then only move to the next bead and then chant the full mantra. So like that, we'll be chanting 108 times this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, which will take approx 9 to 10 minutes. So for next 9 or 10 minutes, just try to completely focus and concentrate on chanting and hearing. Don't get distracted. You can keep your eyes closed, keep your eyes open, whatever helps you to focus on hearing the sound vibration. Let us chant this. And before we chant one invocation mantra, which you repeat after me, and then we'll chant together Hare Krishna Maha Mantra in sync, so you can follow with me. So repeat this mantra. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Now we'll all chant together in sync loudly. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna